Hey, good morning, everybody. This is the Bro-migos in the Morning podcast. I am Garrett Zollinger, Batman himself, talking with the Hulk, Robert Peoples. We are here joining Big Rob on his journey through fitness and life, and we are checking in. Big Rob, how are you doing this morning, sir?
I'm tired, my friend.
Tired.
I'm tired. I
Why are
should
you
have,
so tired, sir?
man. It's like sleep repels me. It's like I seek after it, but it just runs as fast and as hard as it can away from me. I lack
Man,
in
that's not
sleep.
good.
I think I should have done a dry scoop of pre-workout this morning instead of a rain
See,
energy
no,
drink.
no, no, nope,
I
not the
don't
answer.
do it.
We
It's a
learned
joke.
that.
It's a joke.
Man. Um, so, so how was your week, man? So tell us about what challenges you faced, what good things happened, what bad things happened. Just fill us in, man.
So this has been a rough week mentally, and I will own up to it. I slacked this week, and I've beat myself up more than I think anybody else could for it. But one thing in my TikToks and on my posts that I do on my social media sites is for those who are starting out, like I was, uh, the biggest part about it is it's a mental thing. And so with work's been kicking my butt. We've had very long hours and it kind of got to me. It started
Yeah,
draining me down mentally, and yeah, I took extra days off this week because I was getting burnt out really fast from overdoing it. Because I mean, I'd get up at 4:30 in the morning, drive an hour to work. I'm in a truck anywhere from 10 to 12 hours a day. Then it's another hour drive back home. By the time I get home, it's 8, 9 o'clock, and I got to go to bed in like 2 hours.
yeah, man, that's hard. It's not easy, not easy at all. You know, I can't remember if we talked about that just talking on the phone or if we talked recording it, but people don't think about the fact that stress in your daily life impacts your exercise and your fitness, and more than just actual getting to the gym. It actually impacts your body's ability to recover. So stress is a hormone. Predominantly, it expresses in the form of a hormone cortisol. And I know we will probably talk about this in the future, so I won't get into it depth. But cortisol is actually a good thing in an acute sense. In the acute sense, it mobilizes sugar so that you can have energy. So whenever if you break it down into like human beings at the bottom, in evolution, whatever, fight or flight. When we were attacked by the saber-toothed tiger, we had to have a massive influx of energy very quickly to run or fight. And either way, if we were attacked by a tiger, we're probably dead. But when you have that adrenaline, cortisol mobilizes sugar for your body to respond very quickly and have that energy. And the problem that we live in today is now cortisol is on a constant drip, like Chinese water torture. It's constant, and that's where the negatives of cortisol happen. Is everybody's like, oh, cortisol's bad, cortisol's bad, cortisol's bad. Cortisol in the constant flow, yeah, yeah, it's bad. But the acute sense of it, and you spike in the ebb and flow of it is not. It's evolutionarily necessary. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to function the way that the human machine functions. Um, but yeah, man, it can screw with your workouts. Did you get the chance to bring your lunch a couple days this week?
See, yes, sorry. Uh, the beautiful thing about the route that I was on, though, is 2 days a week we got to hit God's Chicken.
God's Chicken, is that place you call Bojangles?
That's God's second favorite chicken because God has thoroughly blessed Chick-fil-A to be nationwide.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I was gonna say,
So the people at the Chick-fil-A that we hit are kind enough to provide us with lunch on those 2 days. So
That's pretty awesome.
Tuesday and Friday, I had lunch covered. Monday, it was a light lunch. It was a banana, and it was 2 bananas for the day for my lunch and my breakfast. So what was it? Wednesday was another 2 bananas, and then Thursday I had a banana and 2 peanut butter sandwiches. Oh,
I like peanut butter.
me too.
Do you like peanut butter or almond butter?
Peanut butter.
Yeah.
But see,
I'm not a huge almond butter person.
the bad thing is I'm kind of a excuse my language, but I'm a brand whore. So I'm very
Well,
picky.
that's okay.
I can't help it. I can't. When you got this big, it wasn't because, I mean, granted, yeah, a lot of it you couldn't really be picky, but on certain things, I'm a
Okay.
brand whore.
I'm gonna be really. This is not obviously directed to you, but on the show, My 600-Pound Life, there's an episode. There's an episode in which Dr. Now or whatever, however you say his name, he the person's like, I've been trying to eat more vegetables, but I'm really a picky eater. And he's like, you're not a picky eater if you weigh 600 pounds. I just thought that was hilarious because it's like I get it 100% what you're saying. It's I get it. But on the other side, like I also get it. So I definitely understand what you're saying.
As far
Man.
as taste wise,
Yeah. So who is your peanut butter brand?
Jeff.
Yeah, Jif is solid, man.
But we've
I
been
used to be a big
getting.
fan of the Peter Pan. Peter Pan was good too for a while. And I
I
don't
like
know what happened, man.
Skippy.
I never really got Skippy a lot. Like we always, when I was growing up, so like the traditional like bread, like sandwich or whatever is peanut butter jelly.
Mm-hmm.
My dad loves peanut butter jelly. Right, my
Mm-hmm.
dad loves peanut butter jelly. Shout out, Dad, I love you.
I
I
know some
grew up on
dog.
peanut butter chocolate chips. I gotta send these to him. Peanut butter and chocolate chip sandwiches, man. That's that's my jam. I love them. They're so good. And I had a friend who was like, "Well, it tastes weird on bread." I'm like, "Have you tried it?" Because no, the bread is just a carrier for the deliciousness
Exactly.
and the godsend. It's like the Ten Commandments were Ten Commandments. It didn't matter if they were written in sand or if they were written in stone. That was just the carrier, right? The bread is just a carrier that brings the blessing. Okay. So that was my thing. And we always seem to have Jif or Peter Pan. I like creamy peanut butter. I've
Mm-hmm.
never liked, I'm not a texture person. Texture's different to me. I don't like a lot of stuff like that. So my dad loves crunchy, but I love that creamy peanut butter. So I don't get it a ton anymore just because I try to avoid certain things out of it. But I love peanut butter.
I feel you.
Man.
See, my mom and my dad, mama, mama's, mama's also on a weight loss journey with me right now.
Heck yeah.
She is down close to 60 pounds herself, which I am very proud of her. She's 20 to 30 pounds away from hitting her ultimate goal.
That's very nice. How old is your mom?
Mama will be 59 this year.
59
She's
years.
gonna beat the crap out of me for dropping her age on this podcast.
You know what? We need to say that, and I'll tell you why. Is because people think that age is a big limiting factor. It's not a limiting factor if you don't let it be.
Shoot,
You know, anybody that listens to this guy is like, yes, age makes a difference in things about the journey, but the journey itself can still happen.
my
You have
dad is
to mitigate things, but that's it. You just have to change how you chart the course, but the course is still achievable.
like my dad. He just turned 59 in February. He'll go into Planet Fitness, put the treadmill on 3.5, jack the incline up to a 15, and get his mile in.
Yeah.
Then he'll
See,
go
my
and
dad's
walk.
the same way. My dad is we're basically the same height. My dad might be a little taller than me. I don't know exactly. It's It's weird. We look really close to eye level. I don't know. Either way, I have a very long torso comparatively to my legs versus my dad is the opposite. My dad has really long legs compared to his torso. Now, we don't look like out of proportion or anything, but it's just like you could tell the difference. So my dad, when he walks in the morning. He walks like you do. He walks like 4 miles in an hour or something like that. Like he's just and it's not extremely challenging for him. Like he's pushing himself, but it's not that big of a challenge. Yeah, I think it was a number of years ago now, but he walked a 5K. Like just no big deal. Just walked it and finished ahead of a lot of people. It's because he just takes long strides, and so it's like my beautiful wife is 5'2". And so, like, when we're if I'm taking long strides or steps, she, like, is running to catch up to me. So it's like
Oh
it's
yeah, I
crazy.
feel her pain in Eldeline Park behind the daggone school, throwing the football and
Well,
running to get it. You're just barely fast walking. I'm sitting there trying to freaking sprint to catch you.
that's
About as
right.
bad as Adam
Yeah.
Hope when we flew the first time. His long legged self. We had 45 minutes to get to our next flight to the next gate.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was from when we landed. We had to sit on the tarmac for 10 minutes because there was no gate open. Then we had to wait another 10 minutes to get our bags from under the plane. Landed right here. The next gate was on the other side of the airport in Charlotte, which, if you've never been to Charlotte Airport, it's a huge freaking airport. Adam Hope is literally stepping up 4 steps at a time. My little hobbit legs that are like 2 inches long. I'm sitting there with my bag, my book bag, and something else trying to run up these steps. He's waiting at the gate by the time I get there.
We're gonna start calling you Bilbo.
Nah, what was there was a dwarf on the Hobbit series that everybody called me. It was the one that jumped in the barrel when it was going down the river. I'm gonna figure it out and then I'm gonna get back
Figure
to
it
you on
out.
it because that's gonna be my nickname.
Yeah. Hey, man, that was it. So I hadn't seen The Lord of the Rings for until me and Alicia we were dating. So like probably 2017, end of 17, the beginning of 18. And then I had never seen the Hobbit ones either until God, like either September of last year. We sat down and watched like all of them. They're good. I like them. I liked them a lot. They were good. They were good. They were good. I enjoyed this. Man, so tell me a little bit more. So you took a couple more days off resting this week. On the days that you rested, did you do anything active recovery? Did you just relax? Did you try to do foam rolling? Did you do anything to try to help your mental and physical recovery?
For mostly I focused on the mental because that's my biggest struggle. I'm
Hmm.
gonna be honest, I struggle with mental, but I've gotten a lot better. And Garrett, you can attest to this. From where I've come from to where I am now,
Yeah.
I I was on the verge of being in the fetal position 24 hours a day. That's how much I let stress get to me and
You
stress
had the
build up.
resiliency of a fluffy pup.
Oh yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Uh but I took a few days. I spent some time with mama. Uh I worked on videos, which really, really that helps me because when my creative side comes out, my my brain, it's like a reset for it. If I have something to think about, either rearranging, which my room will look different on the next podcast, y'all. So stay tuned. Um,
We know
yeah.
that's why you're really listening to us, guys. This is the back
Oh
of
yeah.
Rob's room
Oh yeah.
and my beautiful office.
Oh yeah. By the way, there will be a prize for anybody after next week's video. Like, comment, share, all that stuff. Comment in the thing after next week's video. If you can guess how many Funko Pops I will have on my wall. I promise you, you will be amazed at how many Funko Pops are fitting in this small, tiny room right now. You can only see this many, but you don't see what's all around this
Trust me,
place.
there's a lot. I don't know the answer, but I know there's a lot.
I don't know
Oh,
the answer at this present moment,
oh, yikes! Yeah, that's a
but I
bad thing.
will.
You should basically know the answer to the question, but no, I get you. That
That 2 weeks it's counting. Plus, I got
yeah,
70
yeah,
literally
yeah.
sitting right over there. I know that many.
Jeez. So you
But
took mental breaks. You worked on videos, creative side.
and I made sure that I got it as close to my move goal on my watch as possible. I've got it set for 900 right now. So I was getting it burning, according to this, at least 800 calories throughout
That's
the
not bad
day.
at all. That's not bad at
So,
all. You know,
so
people. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, no, I was gonna say so. I don't even know where the thought went. The thought went out of my head. Again,
Sorry
I
about that.
apologize, y'all. It's early.
Nah, not for that rain and that freaking Ritalin.
Mm, mm.
Man, no, I was just gonna say the Apple Watch Fitbit fitness tracker, guys, is a huge tool. I the argument of accuracy, are they 100% accurate? Yeah, maybe. They're probably not as far off as you're gonna hear a lot of people say. They're also probably not as accurate as you're gonna hear the brand say that they are. But that's less of the point. It's the same bad every time. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
Like it's going to track you the same way every single time. It's not going to say that you do, if you went and walked a mile and it said you burnt 100 calories, it's not going to then turn around the next day you walk a mile and say you burned 300. Right? So it's going to be the same bad whatever it happens to be, which means you can track things with it, because we talked about in our last pod the consistency of your activity is what's going to really, really lead you down to success. Well, to be consistent, it helps to eliminate variables, right? So that's why we challenge you to bring your lunch because it eliminates the variable of Chick-fil-A, Whataburger, Bojangles, all those things. And if you eliminate more variables, that's better. That makes it easier for you. So if you're able to track your calories, that's a variable that you have eliminated that you have to think about, but it's one that you can, in fact, embrace and and use to motivate yourself. So tell me a little bit about the mindset that you approach when you made the decision. Hey, I need to rest a little bit more, versus on previous weeks where you're like, no, I need to get in the gym. Like I might want to rest, but I need to get in the gym. So tell me about that mindset that you took and how you pushed yourself either direction.
So I went into it because I know we had a conversation about uh, when we used to lift and how we literally worked out every day, and how I think it was brought up like you saw me, you came in the gym and I was sitting there walking on the treadmill and you're like, dude, what are you doing? And then the mindset was you need to be doing more, you need to be pushing more, you need to be all this, which isn't a bad thing, but
10x baby,
yes,
10x
sir.
baby.
Yes, sir. Now, now since you've started your gym and you've done research and you've grown more in this, you said that you need to, depending on the person, certain people need more rest. And I'm telling,
Absolutely.
I was literally burning myself out. Although
Yeah.
I was pushing, I hated going to the gym because, to be honest, it sucked. My brain doesn't want to be in that position, but I forced myself to go. My legs were dead, my back, my shoulders been killing me. And I was literally had my shoes on, dressed, about to take my pre-workout, going, and just that conversation came in my head, and I was like, dude, if you keep going, you're either literally going to injure something or
Mm-hmm.
you're just going to turn away, because I know you. Once you start getting burnt out on something, if you don't take a break, don't back off the intensity of how often you're doing it, you're going to
Mm-hmm.
say, screw this, I quit.
Yeah.
So I took a mental step back.
Yeah, that's real mature and that's good. A lot of people, you have these different people who go all or nothing, or they, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? And I am more of the mindset that fewer overall changes although the magnitude might be greater, typically are easier, I think, because if you make a lot of changes at once that are big changes, but then you don't have to do changes down in the future, that works better for my brain. Certain people are the opposite, where it's like they can't handle too much change. They have to do one thing at a time or two things at a time, and they have to do that. But you have to be self-aware, know how your body responds, one, how your mind responds to work, and then you got to remember that it's not something that like you're going to achieve your weight goal and then you're done. You know what I mean? So if Big Rob, what is your weight goal? Speaking of, like, do you have a weight update for us where you're at now? And what is your short term and your long term goals, and why
Uh,
you chose those?
excuse me. So as I said, I started off at 466. My first goal that I had put in place, which I have several, first goal was to break under 400 pounds. So back in January 25th, I hit my first weight goal of 399 pounds, which I had not weighed under 400 in 6 years, which is
That's
a
awesome.
big accomplishment on that part.
Heck yeah.
My next goal, originally I'd set it for 350, but I changed it. I backed it up. I wanted it to be at the 100-pound mark, which yesterday morning I stepped on the scale and I have broken into the 360. I was 369. Yes, sir. Yes,
Heck
sir.
yeah, dude. That's
Uh,
awesome. Congratulations, man.
Thank you, buddy. I'm literally about to be literally down 30 pounds in less than 2 months. And it is,
That's awesome, dude.
it's,
You're down a century.
yes, sir.
That's
But
awesome, dude.
my next goal, I really have no set timeline on when I want to hit these goals. I'm just pushing to hit them.
Mhm.
So my next goal will be 330 pounds because that's the weight that I was when I went into college in
Okay.
2014. And I haven't weighed that much since literally January of that freshman year.
That's 9 years ago, man. That's nearly a decade.
That's disgusting.
Well, I don't say it to be like that. I mean, I
Well,
say
no,
it like I know what you mean. We're getting old,
yeah.
but the positive of that is the fact that you held on. Think about this for a second. You have progressively gotten heavier over the course of nearly a decade, but you're still able to lose it. I know there are people who feel like, oh, I've always been this way, and therefore I cannot change. You know, I've always been big, so I'm just gonna be big. I'm big boned, right? You know, um, people are like, oh, I enjoy food more than this or that. There's cheesy, corny sayings as like Oreos don't taste as good as being healthy feels, and I'm like, you've clearly never eaten Oreos. But the point is like you don't have to hold on to what you've always been. And you also don't have to sacrifice everything you enjoy and love to change certain things about you. Move a little bit more, eat a little bit less, you're going to start seeing some progress. And for people who are, in your circumstance at 466 pounds who want to lose, you know, 166 pounds, at the minimum, I know you said you want to get down under 300 previously. You've mentioned that as a goal.
Mm-hmm.
At first, just take one win at a time.
Oh yeah.
If
Like
that's all you could do.
when I started this, I came off of I didn't even I'm not even gonna say that's when I started it, but that's when the weight change first started. When I weighed in at the 466, I had been taken out of work for 2 months for medical reasons. So literally, I didn't go out. I didn't have money to go out or do anything. I didn't have gas money to go and do, and I was the type of person. It's hot, even though it's February and March. It's North Carolina. It's hot and humid.
It's humid, right? Yeah.
This is the most bipolar weather state I have ever seen in my life. So one day it's 32 degrees, the next day it's 85, and you're sweating buckets. So I taught myself, made excuses not to go outside and do anything. So laying in bed watching TV, I became sediment. No, I said it wrong, didn't it?
Sedentary.
There we go. Well, again, big dude. I
I
was like
wasn't
a
gonna
rock.
correct you. I was gonna let
No,
you do
I was
it.
making sure. But I'll say sediment because I was like a rock sitting there.
Fair
I didn't
enough. Yeah.
move.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything, and so I ballooned up. My weight, I think I was in the 430s or 440s. My weight shot up in 2 months.
Yeah.
20, 30, a crap ton of pounds.
Yeah.
Because it's early. My brain no math right now. But literally, when this started, the weight loss started because I went back to work. I wasn't even watching my weight or anything. I just started moving around. And when I
Yeah.
went to my doctor's appointment for my 3-month checkup, I was down 30 pounds. I was down
There
30
you go.
pounds without even realizing it or actually pushing to do it. I just took
Yeah.
myself from the state I was in and moved it.
Yeah.
But
And I think we're gonna talk about that in part. What that basically was. I think later on we're going to talk about some of the how calories get burned in the body and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean that's just doing something, guys. Like if you normally go home and watch Netflix for the first hour, you're home, and then the second hour you do the same thing. How about on that first hour you get home, recover from work, be relaxed, whatever, and then that second hour go for a 15-minute walk. That's it. Do nothing else, but do that every single day. You're going to start seeing some changes simply because you're changing your standard behavior right now. You're increasing your activity level and you're going to burn some calories. And even if you don't burn a whole lot overall, you're changing a lot of other things in your body. You're causing a lot more metabolic processes to start happening and a lot more just organ systems to function better. Like your heart's going to pump more blood through your body. It's going to help get more recovery through your body, get some inflammation out. It's going to help your lymphatic system, which does not have a pumping mechanism. It's going to help pump that lymph fluid throughout your body. So it's going to help keep you healthier as well. So even just those two things, from taking a few walks a day, you're automatically going to have health benefits happen. So it really, 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 really is simple. It's not easy at all, but it's very simple because you have, we're going to talk about it in a little bit more, I know, but one of my favorite quotes, excuse me, is principles are few and methods are many. I first heard this quote, I'm pretty sure that it was from Matt Brown, the UFC fighter, on West Side Barbell podcast. That's the first time I heard the quote. All credit to him if he came up with it. If not, I don't know whomever did, but it's great. And it's the principles of weight loss are extremely simple. You need to increase your calorie output, decrease your calorie input, or a combination of the two. The law of thermodynamics does not change for anybody. So if you do those things over time, you will have weight loss. Now, the method in which you choose to achieve those things can be very, very different. I'm not going to list every single diet plan. That's another conversation. But some of the basic nutritional things is you can do South Beach diet. You can do carnivore, which I think is good. I think you could do animal based. You could be a sad vegan or an even a sad vegetarian. You can do the McDonald's diet. You can do intermittent fasting. You can do all of these things. And if you do them within the structures that they've provided, you're going to have weight loss. Now, are there better health benefits for one over the other? Absolutely. That's something we will talk about in another podcast. because that's huge importance. But the point is, you can do all of those diets and you're going to have weight loss down the line simply because you're following what the principle is and you're just doing a different method for it. Strength training is the same thing, and bodybuildings are the same things. The methods are very broad. You know, if you want to build your chest, list 4 exercises you can do for your chest: bench press, pec fly, push up, dip. There you go. You can do any of those things, and you're going to have some level of development. The nuance on what is better or what is worse, that's nuanced, very, very specific to a lot of different people. And that comes into play when you look at limb lengths and leverages and all fancy stuff that nobody at the beginning cares about. But the principles remain. So for anybody considering trying to go on any type of fitness journey, and like I said, if I didn't say it previously, if you lift weights or exercise, you're an athlete now, period. Doesn't matter if you view yourself as an athlete or not. You have to train like an athlete for whatever it is that you're doing. And if you're training like an athlete for weight loss, you're training like an athlete for bodybuilding, for CrossFit, for powerlifting, anything at all. If you're training just to be healthy so that, when you have children someday, you can run around in the yard, you're still an athlete for those purposes. And just do something that you're capable of doing and start adding to it as you can. I like Grant Cardone. I think he's pretty much a business genius in a lot of ways. He's a real estate guy, and he wrote a book called the 10x Rule. Guys, look it up. It's a great book, and without going too much in depth, a basic summary is set your goals 10 times what you would have. So if your goal is to lose 10 pounds for Big Rob, set your goal to lose 100 and just push like a maniac for that, because you're going to lose a lot more. You may not reach all 100 pounds at the time you set it, right? If you set yourself like David Goggins, what was it, like 100 pounds in 3 months? You may not reach that goal. But if you put the effort in to lose 100 pounds in 3 months, you're going to lose a lot more than if you put the effort in to lose 25 pounds or 10 pounds. That's the basic premise. Set your goal 10x because it'll force you to level up. And even if you don't reach what the 10x goal was, you're going to reach maybe 7x. That's just a real basic principle. And I think that is a great principle for a lot of things. Set your goals high and work towards it. If you don't reach it, that doesn't mean that you failed. It just means that your target was high and you had to work really hard. And that's a good thing, because today, I'm not saying, we don't work hard, but could we work harder? I think everybody could in jobs and workouts and everything.
Most definitely.
So I think those are great principles to focus on. But that's enough of that. So do you have a plan for this upcoming week? How you want to get back on track? Not even get back on track. Just do you have a plan for how many goals or how many days you want to get in the weight room, in the gym this week?
So I want to. The beautiful part about this week is at work, they're going to be training me to do a different job in what I do. So with that, I'll be getting back early, which that was another factor in my process, because I was getting home at like 7, 8 o'clock at night. So with this,
That's
I
hard.
like, yes, especially when you go into the gym and there's one treadmill open and all the weights are covered by people. So that was another deterrent from it, which that shouldn't be, but that played a factor in it too. But I'll be getting off early and I'll be able to go to the gym with my buddy Wes. So I'll have somebody in there dragging me this time, because I could tell that the self-motivation was kind of lacking. So I'm going to go be dragged kicking and screaming. But I'm shooting for at least 5 days. At least 5 days, take 2 off, just for the mental and a little bit of the physical recovery. But today, I'm dragging Mama with me to the gym. So, yes, sir.
Attaboy. Attaboy. I like it. I like it a lot, man. Well, sir, let's take a quick break. Go grab a bite to eat, and then let's come back and move on to our next phase of this podcast, where we're going to talk a little bit more about strength training and weight lifting. So, guys, we'll be right back. Grab a bite to eat.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank y'all for joining us today. We just went through the part where we talked about my journey and how I've been doing with my weight loss and all that. So if you've been listening, thank you. If you're just tuning in, we're getting into the part where we probe Garrett's mind, because I have a lot of questions. Garrett knows a lot more than me. So if y'all have any questions that y'all want to know, or anything that y'all want to know pertaining to health, fitness, or just our opinions on things, I'm not saying that we know it all, but we're more than happy to throw in our 2 cents about it, or see if we can steer you in the right direction. So like, comment, anything, share, put us out there, get us more views, more, I can't even think of the word, but just more
Subscribers.
subscribers, or
It's the
just
morning.
seen by more people. Words don't like me today, so I apologize.
That's
for
all right.
that.
We
But I
want
mean,
to make sure that Rob's story shares with everybody that could benefit, and I think personally everybody could benefit just from hearing Rob's challenges and how he approaches it, because the challenges that he's facing are not unique to him; they're for everybody. And and if Big Rob shares his story and can change one life, if one opinion of mine or one little tidbit can help impact one person, then this is successful for us.
most definitely.
That's it. So share it with everybody, guys. Even if we suck, like, I'll just throw this out there. We know we're getting better, guys. We'll just be very honest about that. And we want that. We want you guys to let us know what you want to hear so that we can tell you. And yeah, send it, like, subscribe, comment, helps grow the channel. Yeah.
Get more exposure. That was the word I was trying to
Exposure.
think of.
Exposure.
Exposure. All right. So, Garrett, our topic for today is strength training. Well, strength training. Yeah. Yes, sir. Resistance training over cardio.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so jump in and give us an explanation on a little brief summary of what both of those are.
Yeah, so when people typically think of cardio training, they're thinking of walking, running, or jogging, bike riding, swimming, things like that. And those are beneficial, especially when you're starting out, just to increase your calorie output. But I like to think of them in a slightly different way. I like to think about them, and I actually learned this from a trainer that I worked for real briefly, and he talked about activity versus exercise. So whenever you're doing cardio training, it's really just activity. So it's calories that you would not have burned otherwise. But whenever you stop whatever activity that is, your increased calorie output has now gone back to normal, right? So after you walk for 30 minutes, an hour, or whatever it is, you've burned a good amount more calories. But then when you stop, you're not burning any additional calories after that activity is over. Strength training, weight lifting, resistance training, however you want to phrase it, is going to be a lot different. So you're going to have a increase in your calorie output. It's not a huge, significant increase in calories output, but you're creating a metabolic effect that's going to extend how long your body is burning additional calories. Because what you've done is you've activated hormones and a process for your body to have to then repair itself and recover itself to build its strength back, to build more muscle tissue. And over time, when you build more muscle tissue, you're going to increase the burning of calories throughout the day. So the calories that you actually burn throughout the day, about 5% of the calories you burn in the day are from when you actually exercise. So if I were to go, when I go to the gym today and I work out and I try to, kill myself, I'm only burning about 5% of the total calories that I'm going to burn in the day. Me walking around, I have to do some stuff for our yard today. Me walking around doing that basic activity is about the next 15% of those calories. I'm going to burn about 10% of my calories from eating. So the thermic effect of food, which is just a real fancy way of saying your body has to use the calories that you consume. When you eat protein primarily, it's better because there's a much more high thermic effect of that food. You'll burn more. There's a study that says calorie for calorie, if you ate more protein in that diet, you'd lose more weight automatically. You could eat 2,000 calories a day if that's your baseline still, but to increase how many grams of protein, you're going to lose more body fat. And then 70% of the calories I'm going to burn, the remainder are going to be my basal metabolic rate, my normal baseline requirement for my body to exist. So if I'm burning 70% of my calories doing nothing, I have to find a way to burn more calories while doing nothing. And the answer to that is just building muscle mass. You see all the fit guys, fit men and women, and they're just eating like nonstop. Like Bradley Martin, I mean, he eats like 7 burgers at a time. He's super lean. There are things that he has helping him, but one of the major things is the fact that he's lean. He has a lot more muscle mass, so his body can burn those additional calories more effectively than myself or Big Rob. And so you have to think about things like that. So strength training and resistance training is basically just when you make your goal building muscle mass to burn more calories throughout the rest of the day, not just the activity in which you're doing right then and there.
So, which would you say that someone starting out or somebody just trying to get a better idea of how they should train? Should you start with cardio first or weight first?
Man, I like to start with the weightlifting first whenever you're trying to learn. And it's because if you try to learn a new skill, the older you get, it's harder to learn. The old dog new tricks thing. So I would say start with the thing that is going to give you the biggest net benefit over the long haul. I also like playing college basketball. I ran all the time playing, and my joints never liked it. My ankles, my knees, my hips always hurt. Right. And so I don't like doing that, but I can lift, I can go hack squat, and that don't hurt. I mean, my muscles hurt, but my joints are fine.
Yeah.
So that longevity argument that is there is if you're weightlifting, you can do it for longer and you're going to have a lot more net benefits that end up happening. Now, if it's somebody who's literally going from the couch and like they can't, I don't know, they can't do a push-up, right? That's fine. Start wherever you are because weightlifting and resistance training, it can scale to any level. Jimmy Kolb, I want to say is his name. He's pushing for a 1,500-pound band bench press. That's 1,500 pounds on a bench press. I have boys that I'm training trying to get 300. You can scale it however you want. So you can scale it to your 59-year-old mom. You can scale it to my 60-year-old dad, almost 60. He'll be 60 in September. You can scale it to me at 29, turning 30. You can scale it to my wife, who's 25, turning 26. You can scale weightlifting a lot easier. When it comes to cardio, you don't really have a whole lot of scaling that you can do. And then also, you could only run so long in the day, right?
Most
Like,
definitely.
because you get so good at it. This is another, kind of piece. Cardiovascular training, specifically jogging and running, you're actually getting your body to get more efficient at that activity, right? We learn this thing that we're doing. Well, to get more efficient at running, your body needs to burn fewer calories. So over the long haul, it's kind of funky when you start thinking about it. Over the long term of doing cardiovascular training primarily, you're training your body to burn fewer calories doing that activity so that you can do it longer.
Interesting.
Yeah, so muscle mass back in the ice age was very costly. You didn't want a huge amount of muscle because calories were very scarce, right? And they were very costly, meaning your body burns a lot of calories if you've got a lot of muscle mass, which is good when you're trying to control that nowadays. But back then, you wanted fewer overall large muscles because you wanted to be capable of the strength that you need, but you may not eat for the next week. So like you need to have those types of controls. So your body's got more efficient at walking and running and just being an endurance-based animal like that. So yeah, the longer you do endurance-based things, the better you get at it, the less benefit you're actually getting out of it. But strength training, you can scale it up and down however you need to. You can have a really heavy, hard day, or you can have a lighter, easier day that just kind of gets everything moving. And so it's easier to learn those things because you can go over the long haul a lot better.
Gotcha. So I'm gonna jump to a different section. So
Hit me.
with working out, does the time of day matter? Because I know for me, it's been where I've had to work out at night, but I know a lot of people like to go on ahead and get their workout done in the morning before they go to work. So should you work out? Is it more beneficial to work out in the morning or is it at night, or does it matter?
The nuance of it is based off of the individual. So like there are individuals who thrive in the morning. I think Jocko will wakes up at like 4:30 in the morning or 4 a.m. and he works out early in the morning. And then I don't. I work out typically in the evening. You work out typically in the evening. It's nuanced to the point where whatever works best for you. One of the biggest parts of exercise is the recovery. Excuse me. And so whatever you can recover from. So if you wake up early and you thrive in the mornings and you're like, man, I want to get this done, go ahead, do it. Get it done. Knock it out. If you don't and you're like, I can't do that. I like to do it in the evenings with, put my headphones in, fight my inner demons with my hoodie on. Go ahead, man, knock it out. It matters only to the point that you still get your nutrition correct. If you get your nutrition down, then you can pretty much exercise any time of day. I'm fairly certain that we want to talk about nutrition in another podcast, so I won't get too much into it. But your nutrition around your workouts makes the biggest difference on when your workouts need to happen. If you're not eating anything, you probably shouldn't go that hard. If you're eating a 3-course meal, probably shouldn't work out that hard because you're going to throw up. So you have to pay attention to different things like that. Like you're going to hear a lot of people advocate for fasted exercise, fasted cardio. And I think that is if you're on anabolics, if you're on anabolics, go ahead, man. You're not going to go into that muscle wasting. If you're not going to get the benefit out of it that you think. So don't do it.
Brother, I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm gonna speak from experience because I'm the type of person when I'm at work, I don't eat. That's why one of the last challenge you gave me was I needed to bring my lunch. So once I got home, I'd take my pre-workout and change, and by the time that pre-workout hits, caffeine or any stimulant hits me, my appetite curbs. So I literally went.
It's an appetite suppressant. That's literally what it is.
So I went from waking up. I hadn't ate since like 8 o'clock the night before. I'd wake up at 4:30, go my 12-hour shift. It's like 7 o'clock. I took my pre-workout. I'm going to the gym, and I haven't eaten over 24 hours, and I'm sitting there doing my workout. And by the time the stimulant wears off, I'm in the car. I'm going home. that whole flushed, woozy, drained feeling hits. So I honestly do
Hmm.
not recommend that part.
No, I mean, I got one of the guys. He's my barber. His name's Cameron. He's on his own weight loss journey and doing awesome too. Hopefully, we'll have him on sometime in the future. Um, Cameron, he comes to the gym now with me, and he didn't eat a whole lot the first day, and he was like woozy, and you could tell. I was like, bro, you're done. You're not. There's no benefit. You're not getting a benefit out of that if you can't do anything. If you're empty, it's just not worth it. But yeah, I'm not a fan of like the intermittent fasting and stuff like that. So, but yeah, your nutrition matters around your workouts, and that's typically what makes the biggest difference on when should you work out. Um, I've heard, I think like Jay Cutler, the bodybuilder, I think he worked out at like two or three in the afternoon. You know, we worked out when we were training at about 2:30, and it worked great for us because then you can, wake up, get everything done in the morning, and then you have the, training session, then you can recover and, do homework. So, stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of how that answer is. It's nuanced based off of what you can do.
Cool. You actually answered another question I had in there for that because I was gonna ask, should you eat before working out? So good on
Yes, you
you.
you need to have nutrition. So I try to learn from people who are older than I am and more successful, and not just more successful, but just have been around. John Meadows, rest in peace. He was a genius, I think, as far as nutrition goes. Go to his website, guys, or go to his YouTube channel. Check him out. I believe his wife still runs it, and they post such great content all the time. He was such a genius. But he had a pre-workout meal that I think he called it the concoction bowl, and it was like cream of rice or cream of wheat, peanut butter, protein powder, and then a little Hershey's syrup, and then like candy corn. Like he did that for like a Halloween concoction bowl. And the reason why is because you get all your stuff. You get your proteins, you get your fats, and you get a good carbohydrate source. And you're going to put that in right before you go train. That's going to fuel that workout very specifically, and it's also going to help with your recovery during and after. Now, somebody who's going through a massive weight loss journey, I wouldn't say you need to do that. I would say because I would turn into a diabetic immediately because I just love sugar. So,
Yeah.
but somebody who's trying to think about pre-workout meals, have a good portion of protein, maybe half or three quarters of the size that you might have for your full meal. So if you would typically, so like I typically try to eat about 12 to 16 ounces of beef if I can for like a setting. So like if I sit down to have ground beef tonight, I'm going to have like a pound. So if I were doing that as a pre-workout meal, I might cut that in half. So I might do like 8 ounces. I would do 8 ounces and then have your whatever small carb source that you want, you know, third of a cup of rice. Boom that, slam that down, have a little bit of salt with it because it's going to keep your performance up and then get going. And the reason why is because you don't want to get into that brain fog. Like you want your performance level to still be very high. Because if your performance level is high, you're then still creating such a net benefit at the back end of things by building more muscle tissue over the long haul that even if it's not maybe the best thing right then for you to be eating, the long term benefit is going to outweigh that short term. And you can manipulate your nutrition away from your workout to cut things out. So if I'm going to have, let's say I ate 300 carbs in a day, just throwing that out there as a number just for easy, or let's say 100, so it's easier for math. So I want to fuel my workout really hard. I'm going to have 50 grams of carbs before my workout, let's say. We're like, oh, wow, that's half your total carbs for the day. Well, yeah, but I'm only going to have 30 on my other two meals. I'm going to have 25 and 25. So I've cut my carbs from my other places of my meals and I've put them to a focused intent and I have an intentional timing on that nutrition. I believe very strongly that the timing of nutrition is very important. And so that's how you can kind of manipulate that. But yeah, you should eat before you work out. Just again, use that nutrition for a purpose. So it's like if you're good, if you ate real lunches, not just a banana, have that banana and a little bit of peanut butter before you go work out. Boom, you got a little bit of protein, got a little bit of good fructose, good sugar is going to help fuel you. You're gonna have a little bit more mental clarity probably because you put some sugar in your brain, and that's going to mean you're going to be able to work harder and create a better metabolic effect in the back end. So do that. Don't overeat, but eat something.
I got you, brother. I got you. Um, so I think we got time for a few more questions.
Yeah, man, hit me. I got time. I got time if you got time.
I always got time. Let me stop lying. Let me stop lying because I just said I
yeah,
didn't.
yeah, yeah. You always
All
got time.
right, so I'm gonna do a combo question. How often should you increase your weight amounts? And then I'm gonna throw in going to exhaustion. What are the benefits of that, and how often should you do that?
Yeah, yeah. So training to failure, training to exhaustion. So I think you should do that more often than people probably do. Um, Muscle growth happens from mechanical tension being on this specific muscle you want to grow. And you have to put more force into that muscle to create that. So you should train to failure. I would say at least one set per body part that you're doing. Now you need to be in a safe situation. I would do, chest press versus bench press. I would go to failure. Don't go to failure on bench press. Go to failure on chest press because of the safety
don't
aspect. But
don't pull a me.
yeah, don't pull a big route. But you should train to failure. The reason why is because it's just going to be an easier baseline for you to understand where certain things are at. At the beginning, train to where you can no longer do any further reps with good controlled form. The tempo for that is typically you want to have a under control eccentric, which is lowering of the weight, and then an under control but explosive concentric phase. So if you were to do a bench press in this circumstance or chest press, eccentric is when you're lowering the weight back into your body. Your muscle is stretching but being contracted still. You want to be under control, 2 to 3 seconds. It's a good measurement. And then explode through the rep, but you still want to explode under control. You got to train to failure because if you don't, you're just not creating the maximum benefit for hypertrophy that you're trying to get. Failure means different things to different people. Tom Platz trained to failure where he couldn't function. Tom Platz, his nickname was the Quad Father, and the man was built to squat, and he had huge legs and great development. But he did squats to fail. I mean, he would squat and he would fail, and then he would do leg extensions and fail, and he would fail at every range, like where he literally couldn't move the weight at all. For you and I, maybe let's say we do the leg press for failure. Failure is when we can't do the rep correctly at all. Even if we're pushing ourselves, or hack squat may be a better example. Hack squat or pendulum squat. And if you have to wiggle it up, that's bad. Don't do that and stop your set there. Because at that point, you've pretty much maximized all the factors that benefit the hypertrophy overall. So that's where I would go. And then the other part of your question you said was how much should you rest? Was that what you said?
How often should you increase your weight amounts?
How often should you increase your weight? So you should increase your weight whenever you can within reason, right? So I go through conjugate periodization, which means trying to raise all aspects of athleticism or strength at the same time, as the simple explanation. I follow the 3-week wave, pendulum wave. So we increase percentages every single week, get a new max, and then go back down to those percentages. But the percentages have not changed because it's a higher weight that we're taking the percentage off of. Another way that you can do it is set yourself a rep scheme prescription. A real common one's 5x5. I prefer the 6x6 personally. So if you're going to do the 6x6, count how many reps you get. Try to do weight that you have to challenge yourself to get all 6 reps. Right. So let's take, personally, I like decline pressing. Yeah, I feel it. Excuse me. I feel decline a lot better. I like it it works really well for me. So let's say decline bench press is my accessory lift that I'm doing today. So I'm going to decline and I'm going to set 6x6, but I'm going to choose a weight that's a challenge. So if I get 6 reps the first 3 sets, awesome. Let's say I only get 4 in the next 3 sets. Well, then that means I got what, 6, 12, 18, and then another 12. So I got 30 total reps out of the 36 prescribed. Well, then I'm not going to increase my weight yet. But let's say I got all 6 sets and I got all 6 reps. Well, then I'm going to add some weight, but I'm not going to go crazy. I'm going to add 5 pounds to that. And the reason why, and Louis Simmons, rest in peace, I love that man. I think he had said that Kenny Patterson and George Halbert were 2 of his best bench pressers, and they would walk around carrying a 2.5-pound plate, and they'd call it the plan. If you just increase by 5 pounds whenever you can and have that opportunity, you're always going to be able to make progress over time. And that way you can always increase things. Now, again, there becomes nuance with tempos and how your rest periods and things of that nature. But overall, increase every chance that you can, but only increase by 5 pounds total. Don't try to go kill yourself. Just take your time. Because again, Rob, you're what, 29 right now?
I will be in June.
So you're going to be 29 years old. You want to do this when you're 59 and 69, right? So
Not really,
don't
but
rush
I have
into
to,
it.
I'll be honest.
You know, well, yeah. You know what I mean? But you don't want to rush into it and do so much weight that you hurt yourself or you can't actually be successful with it. So just take your time. So progress every chance you get, but you don't have to make giant leaps and bounds. You can take small steps. So that's, progress when you can, but make small progress so you can make consistent progress.
So that ties into one of the quotes that I've had to pound into my head. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Because when I jumped back into this, when I started lifting like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I'm used to, in my head, I could still move the heavy amounts of weights that you and I would move in the gym when we worked out together. Yeah. 10 years, I found out that that's not happening. Barely 135 on the bench. Nope. That shoulder's like,
and
no.
you got to take that time, and there's nothing wrong with taking that time, right? So it's a lifestyle. I know that's super cheesy, but it is a lifestyle. You have to embrace the fact that you're going to be exercising for a purpose, but it's going to be a part of your life for the rest of your life. And so take your time with progress, because if you don't get it today, that's fine. You can get it tomorrow. You can work to it. It's easy to set goals then. You say, oh, wow, I wasn't able to bench press that much. Well, now that's a goal. Now I can push myself towards that. So that's great, because it is a marathon. It's cheesy, but it is. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
I feel you, brother.
It really is.
So
man, we got any more?
I got 2 more questions.
Hit me.
So, can you train the same muscle group twice during the week? Also, can you train abs every day?
Yeah, so yes and no to both of those. It depends on a lot of other factors. To make it simple though, if you're training to failure consistently and you're putting in the maximum work, you wouldn't want to then do that again in 2 days. Right. So typically the body needs about 72 hours to recover from massive workouts. From small workouts, about 12 to 24. So in other words, if I train to failure today on Saturday, I'm not going to then go train my upper body again to failure on Monday or Tuesday. I'm going to mitigate the volume and change the intensity. And we need to talk about intensity, guys. Intensity is not a feeling or an effort. Okay. This is such a abused term. Intensity should be defined by percentage of a 1 rep max repetition. How heavy are you lifting compared to what you're capable of lifting? That is how you define intensity. And if you don't, everything else becomes Kaiser Soze, gone. Doesn't you don't know. Because you should always have the best effort for what you're trying to achieve in the gym. So flip your mindset, guys. Intensity is your percentage of 1 rep max. Okay. So taking that, if I do a very high intensity, high load workout, I'm not going to go do another high intensity, high load workout. I'm going to go mitigate. I'm going to do a lot more body just pumping things, right? So I'm going to do a lot more just volume just to get my body moving. Again, get that blood pumping, get those recovery factors happening. So can you train muscle groups more than once? Yes, controlled for volume. For somebody who's not going to train to failure. So if you're not going to train to failure, you need to do more overall sets per muscle group. Control it for volume. I don't think you need to do a billion, but the kind of conventional wisdom says 12 to 16 sets in a week is good if you're not training that hard. I'll just say that. So if you're training hard, probably don't want to train a bunch of days in a row with the same muscle groups. If you're training a lot lighter, training not close to failure, you're leaving a lot of, in the tank, then yeah, you can train those multiple days in a row, multiple days a week. Can you train abs every day? It's kind of the same answer, yes and no. So your abdominal region has a lot of more endurance type fibers. They're more oxidative, meaning, and it's because your body has to support your torso a lot. To build your abs, you do need some level of hypertrophy. You need to be lean, but you need some level of hypertrophy and growth of the abs for them to come out when you are lean, which is, easily achievable. But to do that, you actually don't want to train them necessarily every day. You can, again, if you're a strength athlete, you should train your abs almost every day. But if you're training for bodybuilding or physique, just body composition, train them really hard and then take a couple days off. Wow, I think that's going to annoy the crap out of me. I'm pretty sure it's Christian Thibodeau. His last name's correct. I don't remember his first name. Either way, he had an ab routine that I loved and I thought was great. And it was, you go to failure back to back 3 times on the same 2 movements, supersetting itself. So you did ab crunches on a rope, very slow, deliberate, and going slow on the way up, controlled on the way down, explosive though. And you're really trying to burn the crap out of those abs. You hit 12 to 15 reps with a weight that you can do. You hit failure within those 12 to 15 reps. Then you automatically go to an exercise ball and you do crunches on the ball. Same thing, you're just crunching, squeezing really, really hard. You do that, you're not going to want to train them every day.
I feel you, brother.
So you can, and if you're not going to train them hard, you should, because of the fact that you can get additional calories burned, kind of throwing them in there and helping just kind of keep your body moving. But the harder you train, the more you need to recover from it.
Gotcha. Well, brother, that's pretty much all I've got for you today.
Awesome, man.
Yes, sir. So, what is my challenge for this week, good sir?
Man, so we're going to continue on that challenge that we issued you last week. We want you to get bringing your lunch every day this week. And then I want to add in this. So I want you to pick one exercise every day you go to the gym, and I want you to train to absolute mechanical failure on it. So I want you to train as hard as you can, at least 1 set. And then when we come back later, let's see how it goes, man. See how you felt. Talk about the mentality. Talk about how you feel. Talk about how big your arms get or how big your chest gets. And we'll see how you do, man.
Well, in true Barney Stinson fashion, challenge accepted.
Yes, sir. Big Rob, always good talking to you, sir. Tell the people where they can find us.
Everybody, go blow us up. We are on YouTube and we are on Spotify. The links will be in the bio. Go check us out. Remember to like, Comment anything, good, bad, ugly, what you want to hear, what you think we did good, what you think we did bad. It doesn't matter. Just put comments in those boxes. Also, share and subscribe. Get us out there, get us exposure so people can find us and we can do our best to just help people. Because that's ultimately what we're looking to do. We're looking to get the story out. We're looking to give information for people who are starting out, people who've been training and just didn't know information on stuff. Not saying we have all the answers, but we have a little bit of knowledge that may help you in the future, your workouts day to day. So, with that being said, little tidbit. Also, if you're working out, you're just starting, the soreness will go away in 2 days. I promise. I promise. Don't give up on that. You may not be able to move your arms fully, but it goes away and it gets easier. But for that, I'm Big Rob, aka the Hulk. This is my man Garrett, aka Batman. We appreciate y'all being here. Thanks for the support and love. We hope y'all have a great day, and we hope to see y'all in the future.